I used to think rock bottom would come loud, shattering glass, a scream, something cinematic. But when it happened, it was quiet. Just the low hum of the fridge, burnt toast in the air, and my own breath, ragged and shallow. I'd been trying to do it all. Breakfast for the kids, emails, Aurora's science project. My hands had been trembling for an hour, but I blamed it on too much coffee, not enough sleep. Then everything narrowed. Vision dimmed. Floor rushed up. Cold tile against. My face, no crash, no cry. Just stillness. When I opened my eyes, Simone was standing over me. Calm. Too calm. "You need help, Callan?" she asked, soft, steady, like I was one of the kids with a scraped knee. I wanted to say I was fine, just tired, but my tongue was thick, head spinning. She helped me up. I leaned on her because I had no choice. The kids were already at school. Thank God. They didn't see me like that. Simone said she'd take me somewhere to rest. I thought, doctor, maybe just home to bed. Instead, she drove me to Silver Grove Wellness Center. Clean white walls. A sign that promised peace and renewal. It looked like a spa. I thought it was a quick stop. She walked me in like it was date night. Smiling receptionist. Warm. Too warm. They took my keys, phone, wallet. "Just for now," they said. Simone kissed my forehead, dry, quick, then left. Click. Her heels fading down the hall. I thought she'd be back in an hour. She didn't. Come back. They gave me pills. Said they'd help me relax. I swallowed them without thinking. The fog settled in. No clocks, no phone, no answers. When I asked to go home, they said, "We'll see how you're doing tomorrow." But that line started to sound rehearsed, like I'd checked into something I wouldn't check out of so easily. I tried to remember Simone's face on the kitchen floor. That calm look. It hadn't been love. It was relief. She'd been waiting for me to break. And now that I had, she'd put me somewhere I couldn't interrupt her life anymore. The next day, I asked for my phone. "Not yet," the nurse said. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. I asked to call Aurora and Miles. I just needed to hear their voices. The nurse shut it down. "You're not in the right condition to speak to your children." 16 years. Of being their dad, gone in a sentence. That afternoon, Simone came to visit. She looked polished, distant. I stood, ready to hug her. She didn't move. "This is for the best," she said. Her voice was smooth, practiced. She didn't sound like my wife. She sounded like someone who'd already erased me. I told her I didn't belong here, that I just needed time. She cut me off. "The doctors know what's best." She kissed my forehead, clinical, final, then walked away. I called after her. "Simone, wait." She didn't look back. That night I asked the nurse when Simone would visit again. She didn't even look up. She requested no further contact. Just like that, I was gone from her life. Not broken. Just removed. The pills weren't for healing. They were for erasing me. Simone hadn't brought me here to rest. She brought me here to vanish. That realization landed like a stone in my gut. I lay in the narrow bed, staring at the ceiling, trying to make sense of how the woman I'd loved for half my life could throw me away. Aurora's crooked grin. Miles's quiet, "Love you, Dad." They were out there. I was in here, drugged, watched, forgotten. I stopped swallowing the pills, slipped them under my tongue, spit them into tissues when the nurse turned away. I needed clarity, not sedation. I stopped asking questions. The staff just scribbled notes like I was some twitching lab rat. Instead, I watched, learned the shifts, the locks, the sounds. Simone thought this place would bury me. But I wasn't gone. Not yet. 5 days in, the Fog began to lift. So did the anger. Controlled now. Sharp. I was still Ken Mercer. Still a father. Still a man with something to say. Then I met Dana. She was a night nurse. Different. Her eyes didn't pity me. They saw me. At 2 a.m., she handed me the usual paper cup. I faked the swallow. She didn't call me out. Instead, she leaned. In close, breath minty, voice a whisper. "You're not broken, Cohen, but they want you to believe you are." Then she slipped something into my hand. Cold, small, a flash drive. I hid it in my pillow. That night, I didn't sleep. My mind spun. Who was Dina? What did she know? And why help me? From that night forward, I stopped pretending. No more pills, just dust beneath my shoe. Clarity returned like a rising tide. Dina didn't speak again, not openly, but she lingered, eyes on me. A code in. Glances and murmured cues. Tuesday, lunch, fire exit, left hall. A plan, built piece by stolen piece. Tuesday came. Tuesday came. During lunch, I made my move. Flipped a tray, shouted nonsense about voices in the vents. Patients froze. Orderlies swarmed. One radioed for sedatives. I let them inject me. But Dana had swapped the vial, saline only. I collapsed, like they expected. Let them haul me to my room. Then, the alarm. Shrill, screaming, smoke without fire. A distraction rigged by Dina. I rolled off the bed, slipped into stolen scrubs, stuffed the flash drive in my pocket and bolted. Past the panicked crowd, left at the supply closet. Fire exit. Unlocked. Cold night air hit my face. I didn't. Stop. Behind a dumpster, just like she'd said, I found the key taped underneath. A beat-up sedan waited near the lot's edge. No plates, no questions. I drove, white-knuckled, eyes in the rear view, waiting for sirens. But none came. Simone had written me off, declared me erased. She had no idea I was rewriting the story. I killed the engine and sat in the silence. Heart racing, the flash drive pressing against my leg, the key still warm in my hand. I wasn't Callan Mercer anymore. Not the discarded husband. Not the ghost father. That version of me had died in a white room. I stepped into the damp night. The trailer loomed, quiet and forgotten. Perfect. Inside, the air smelled of mildew and burnt coffee. But it was mine. For now, that was enough. I hadn't slept, still wired from the escape. My fingers trembled as I locked the door and collapsed. Onto the sagging couch. No laptop. No way to read what Dina had risked everything to give me. But I didn't need files to know one truth. I couldn't be Ken Mercer anymore. Simone ruined that name, twisted it into weakness. I needed a new skin. That's when it came to me. Ronin Veil, a name born in the quiet. Rootless, sharp, concealed, a new mask for a man sharpening his edge. Before Simone crushed my career under hers, I'd been good, branding, design, turning nobodies into something slick. I buried that talent for her. Now it was all I had left. The trailer's back room held a relic of a laptop. Flickering screen, half-dead keyboard, but it booted. That night, Ronin Veil was born. No past, no photo. Just a forged portfolio, a burner email, and fingers moving like fire. By dawn, I'd pitched a dozen businesses. By afternoon, I had my first job, $50 for a coffee shop logo. Small start, but it was mine. I called the Venture Veil House creative. Sounded bigger than me. Clients liked the mystery. No questions, just clean, fast results. Cash came in, enough for a better laptop, a burner phone, a jacket that didn't smell like mildew, and then came the twist. A rebrand offer. Big money, $5,000. Oh, from Mercer Solutions, Simone's company. The empire she funded by draining our joint accounts the day she locked me away. She had no idea who Ronin was. I took the job, poured every grudge into the design. Every color, every curve of the logo was a scalpel. A hidden V for Veil, for victory. She paid. I smiled. The money was hers. Now it was mine. Veil House grew fast. Word spread. No face, no questions, just results. Then I found Aurora's blog. My daughter, 16. Sharp. Her words, "Trust is a ghost now," cut through me. Miles, 13, posted less. One image. Grinding solo. He was shutting down like he did when hurt. I couldn't reach out. Simone still had my old phone, my name, my voice. But I could still be a whisper in their world. I started mailing them fragments, documents, timelines, questions, evidence. A forged power of attorney, drained accounts, her lies. Aurora's blog went dark. Then she posted, "Paper trails, don't lie." Miles followed, an old photo. "Miss this." They were waking up. Then the email came. Mercer Solutions, Simone, invited Ronin Veil to keynote their gala, to unveil the rebrand she'd unknowingly hired me to create. How could I say no? I spent days preparing. Not just a speech, a reckoning. I bought a suit, clean, understated, sharp, a ghost in human skin. The gala dripped money and lies. I spotted her, Simone. Red dress, champagne smile. The performance queen. Aurora and Miles sat near the stage. Unaware, she introduced me. Our visionary designer, Ronin Veil. Applause. I stepped into the spotlight, folder in hand, truth in my pocket, and a storm waiting to be unleashed. The room went still when I revealed the last slide. A logo, yes, but with a signature tucked into its lines. Mine. A hidden V. A message only I knew was there. Applause rose. Simone smiled from her seat, smug. She thought she'd hired some mystery designer to rebrand her empire. I let the noise settle. Then I stepped forward. "This wasn't just a project," I said, voice steady. "It was personal. Because this," I held up the first document, a scan of the forged power of attorney, "is truth." The crowd shifted, murmurs, phones up. Simone's smile cracked. This was signed the day Ken Mercer was committed to Silver Grove, giving his wife total control of his life, his money, his voice. I turned the page. Emails, bank transfers. A digital paper trail showing how she orchestrated his disappearance. Another, beat. She told his children he was unstable, dangerous. I scanned the room, then locked eyes with Simone. "My name isn't Ronin Veil," I said. "I'm Ken Mercer, and this woman locked me away to steal everything." Gasps, shouting. Simone stood, stammering. "He's unstable. He's lying." I raised a flash drive. "It's all here. Emails, medical records, proof. She said I had nothing left to offer." I smiled. "Watch me." I tossed the folder into the crowd and walked off as security hesitated, unsure who the threat really was. Simone's empire cracked that night right there on that stage. Outside, I barely made it to the car, adrenaline crashing hard. My burner phone buzzed. A new message. "Unknown number. Dad, it's Aurora." My knees nearly buckled. I replied, "I'm here." The fallout was immediate. News broke overnight. Husband exposes wife's fraud at gala. The clips went viral. I watched it unfold from the tiny trailer I'd been living in, still wearing the crumpled gala suit. By morning, Silver Grove was under investigation. Dina had come forward with testimony. Falsified admissions, manipulated charts. My lawyer, Miranda, hit the courts fast. Fraud, identity theft, unlawful confinement. Simone tried to spin it on TV, crocodile tears and camera-friendly lies, but the flash drive, the documents, Dina's sworn words, they cut louder than any sob story. No one was buying her act anymore. Aurora moved in that weekend. Duffel bag, set jaw. No discussion. "I'm not staying with her," she said. Miles came 2 weeks later. "She keeps lying. I'm done." We made it work. 3 people in a trailer, cooking on a hot plate, laughing at bad jokes again. Not perfect, but ours. Simone's world unraveled fast. Mercer Solutions lost clients. The foundation folded. Donations dried up. Her name became poison. She fought, barely. No prison, just a plea deal that stripped her of everything. Custody, ownership, access. She vanished to Arizona. We didn't care. Miranda secured me full custody a month later. The courtroom was quiet. The judge looked weary, but clear. "The evidence speaks for itself," he said. "Custody awarded to Mr. Mercer." Simone's face was hollow. Not rage, not regret. Just defeat, and then she was gone. Veil House exploded after that. Clients wanted the rebel designer. I didn't care for the fame, but Aurora pushed. "You have a voice now, Dad. Use it." So I did. I wrote. I spoke. I told the truth. Not just about Simone, but about what happens when someone turns you into a ghost. How easy it is to vanish, and how hard it is to come back. Aurora came to talks with me. One night, she stood up and said, "You didn't just survive, Dad. You taught me how to fight." Miles sat up front, sketching in a notebook, drawings of me on stage. Not broken, just rebuilt. Eventually, we left the trailer for good. A small house by the ocean, 2 bedrooms, a cracked counter, a porch swing, salt air in the mornings. Aurora studied pre-law an hour away. She came home weekends, honking her beat-up car twice so I'd know it was her. Miles built skateboard ramps in the yard, planted a garden, smiled again. Inside, I worked from a desk in the living room. Clients still called. The story still spread. The mural on the wall, a man walking out of a storm, his spine made of steel wires, reminded me what it cost to reclaim a life. Not through rage, not revenge, through truth, through rising.